am root.
I am root.
That's a good one.
Okay, so we've talked about a couple different commands that we can use, right? So we've talked about cat, right? We've talked about touch. So
Echo.
the ones we're going to use in this one are going to be, you can
Grep.
use cat, and we're also going to use grep, and we can use cut. Okay? So
Cat, cut,
if you guys are on the Unix server, you should look inside of /home/shared /499. A, make sure that you can get into that directory. B, make sure you can cat those two files. So there's two files in there.
So
/home/shared /499.
CD.
It works now, Adam, that it's plugged in.
It does.
Amazing.
Why isn't it letting me into shared?
Is that not?
CD/shared.
/home/shared.
I'm already going.
No, you don't type a slash, right? So that's absolute path. If you wanted to go into shared, you'd say cd space shared or cd dot slash shared.
gotcha.
Right, so remember the slash, if it's at the beginning of a path, that's an absolute path. So from the root. If it's a dot slash, it is from your current directory. What are you trying to, what do we do?
I was back in command Windows.
Windows.
Yeah. Evil Windows.
What do you want us to do? What? What do you want us to do?
CD.
So you should be able, so in this folder, there are two files that we're going to do for our first homework.
Oh, that's a big one. Yeah.
So that's home/shared /499. I'll put this in the homework.
I saw the H and the S and tried that. It didn't work.
Well, so that's why I typed PWD, which you guys remember what that one stands for?
No.
Print or present working directory. So that's where am I?
WD.
Right, I'm on my home. So you say cd/home.
I'll
Slash
cut log.
share.
I'll cut log.
Oh, that's where we need to go. 499. Okay.
Where am I? What is this thing?
And I do see the files.
You do see the files? Can you cat them?
Yes, I was able to cap them without a problem.
Or do head?
Yeah,
Right?
we
Head will
can
give you the
do-
first like 10 lines.
Or just type them into a string.
Pam there's a lot of Pam in there.
And
Pam.
the second cat, the first one, I'm assuming.
Well, it's mostly Pam. So does anybody know what Pam is?
I'm assuming that she's busy.
Oh, not that kind of Pam.
Oh,
It keeps stuff from sticking.
it's not.
How many more jokes can we make about it?
I don't know.
Too bad it's not spam, right?
That's a different one. Okay, so PAM is the pluggable authentication module. Right? So that allows you to add new authentication methods. So if you look in here, you see PAM_Unix, SSHD, so that's the secure shell daemon, and it is an auth. We also see PAM_SSS. So SSS is single sign-on service, I think, right? So there's a process called SSSD that we use to authenticate you guys against the domain. And so in this system, yes?
What's that command you use? Head.
Head?
Yeah.
Head will print off the first, I think it's 10 by default lines of a file. Or you can say head -n 30, number of 30 lines. There's one called tail. It will give you the last
Okay.
X number of lines.
Makes sense.
So those are ways, because I know that there are probably thousands of lines. How would I find out how many lines are in a file? Remember that command?
I remember you doing it, I just don't remember what it was.
You can do the what was it?
Oh, word count. And
Word count. WC. Yep.
Is that word
The
count?
they
or-
say, right?
Is that word count or line count?
So it shows you three different things. It shows you lines, words, or things with spaces in them, and then total number of characters.
Alright.
And if you don't know, right, and WC,
Oh yeah. I forgot about
right? So I think it's by default, let's see, what does it say?
New line.
Print the
New
byte
line.
count.
New line word character byte.
Okay, yeah, new line word and byte count. Okay, so that's, I know that there's like 49,000 lines in there, so that's,
Offlog 1 has 300,000 lines.
yeah, I know, that's why I picked it, 'cause
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a better. So,
I catted that and it took a while, by the
well, that's why, that's why we're gonna use grep, right? Because, yeah, there are, what did you say?
303,672 lines.
It took a little bit, right? So
Yeah.
303,000. Right, so it's something that we're not gonna wanna go through by hand, right? So we're gonna use grep. So I think there's gonna be two different parts here that we're going to try and get, or maybe three. Right, so if you look in here, so SSS, right, is that single sign-on daemon that's running. And you can see that it's trying to authenticate a lot of different users. So how could we find, so we're gonna do two parts, what users and what IP address those users are coming from.
So we can grep. Can't we? We can grep the SSS, ham underscore SSS, and then cut.
Who's using TeamSpeak?
Well, right, so that's what they're trying, right? They're trying,
And then we can cut back to user, right?
well, so does it, I mean, does it matter if they're in ham SSS?
Is there other users?
Right, there's a lot of different ways we could skin this cat, right?
Yeah.
So there is this one, invalid user. Right, that's one way.
So could we cat or grep to user? Or
So
would
you
that
could
be?
look for that, right? So we could look for invalid user. So that's giving us a bunch of IP addresses, right? XVNC, admin, the user is 1234, FTP user, Udo. And so what do you think attackers are doing with this, right? What are they trying? Trying to set up a session. So this is the offlog for SSH, right? Well, mostly, right? All of these are SSH, right? Because I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, Angel, isn't SSH the only service that we have open?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're trying to log in with SSH, and they're guessing at usernames, right?
Oh.
Right, so this is them guessing different default usernames.
Oh.
And some of these make sense, right? Admin user,
Minecraft.
Minecraft, yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That one makes sense.
Yeah, so that doesn't make any sense, right?
I'm trying to, what was that
So was
command
this-
you used again with grep?
Is this like a dictionary attack? Is that what this is?
So no, right, before we had been doing cat and piping it into grep, you can actually grep a file, right? So if you grep, and then the first thing you put is the file name, and then you can use -e to say what expression would I like to search for.
Oh, so you can do that.
And then you gotta put it in quotes. Okay, yep.
Or do you have to put it in quotes?
So you should put it in quotes. The reason why is if you use things like asterisks or things that Bash is going to try and escape for, like do for you automatically, then it will actually do those instead of putting them in your expression.
Now, obviously, that's not case sensitive, right?
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
what I was about to ask. Okay, it was like, I think
Yeah.
he has more.
He's probably,
No, that's
yeah.
the exact question I was
So
asking.
it can be case sensitive.
Okay.
It depends, right? So if you look at the man for grep, if you look down here at the bottom, right, -I, ignore case. So you can tell it as an option, like, don't care about the case. So I could,
But I did a grep in it. Oh, okay. I don't know. Didn't you just do invalid and it's oh, here's all capitalized. That's right.
so here I said ignore case,
Gotcha.
right? And we can see that I get both upper and lower case,
Yeah.
whereas before I got just uppercase.
Is it invalid if you were to do like -IE rather than -I space -E? Just
So
curiosity.
the way the arguments work is -E has to be followed by your expression.
Okay, so
I
that
can
does matter.
put that either at the beginning, or I should be able to do it at the end,
Yeah,
right?
so have to be separated. The expression.
E is for expression. So, have you guys ever heard of regular expressions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have now.
Are you an automata? Because you should learn about regular languages, and then we can have expressions that are regular. And basically, the thing you need to know with regular expressions for my class is that there's a couple different things that you can do, right? So we can look, and we did this before, remember when we did the bracket 0 through 9, right? So that means I have a character, and it is within the class of 0 through 9. Right, or I can do a dot, right? And dot means two different things, right? Dot can mean any character, but if you want to have the literal dot, you need to type a slash in front of it. Okay? So normally dot would mean any character, so if I do user dot star, that means I have any character, and star means 0 or more times.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
So this is followed by 0 or more characters after that. Plus means 1 or more. Which is why, normally when you guys are in Bash, right, you can do something like ls star dot auth. Auth dot star. And it'll list all things that start with auth and then have any number of characters after that.
So you need to have that period there?
What?
You need to have that period after off.
No, it was trying to figure out what character I was doing star on, so I just messed that up.
What if you got rid of that period after off?
I still don't think it would work.
Now, whenever we do these expressions,
Yeah, I need to have something there. No, it doesn't match. Woo! There's nothing there. Right? It doesn't match anything, which is bad.
now, if we're using a regular expression, do we need to put it in quotes?
Yes, so
Okay.
you gotta put it in quotes, because otherwise the bash will interpret that star as I need to complete something, and so it goes to the wrong part of your program. So that's why I put mine inside of quotes, right? So for example, we could look for, so you notice how here, right, it shows us, it highlights the word invalid, so that is the part that it matched, right? But if we wanted it to show us invalid and then everything after that, right, we add the dot star, and now it's going to match invalid and everything to the end of our phrase. So if you guys go into the manual for grep, right, there's one that says print matching only. What option is that? So I only want to print the part that's matching. I don't want any of this other garbage that's in the front.
Cheerio.
What?
It's a Cheerio. It's an O.
Minus O.
Only matching.
Right? So that'll print only the part that it matches your expression that we have. Okay? And then what command can we use to pull all these things apart? To take a scissors to it. Cut! Okay?
I like that.
Remove sections for each line.
Okay, so what's the syntax for cut?
Cut option, then the file name.
You guys remember what do I need for cut? Cut breaks something based on a
Delimiter.
It's field.
delimiter. So how do I specify what the delimiter?
It's D.
Man cut. Go to the manual.
That's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
My dash D is.
Minus D,
Yep.
and then I give it a delimiter.
And you put that in
Oh, in
a
quotes,
regular
yeah.
expression, right?
Well, it's just a character, right? And I put it in quotes. And then what do I need to? I gotta tell
The
what
fields,
parts.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So what are the fields?
Dash F
Minus F.
or minus F, yeah.
And I'm actually going to do them in reverse order. So let's see. So I got field 1 is invalid, 2 is user, 3 is their name, 4 is from, 5 is their IP address. So I'm actually going to do 5, comma 3. So I'll put the IP address and then put the username. Got a question, Will?
Yeah, why are there quotation marks there?
That's the
Because
space.
the delimiter that I'm doing is a space.
Oh.
So I put quotes on. If it was an @ sign, I'd put that in there. If it was a period, I'd put that in there.
So dash F is you want 5 and 3. You're just telling
Yeah,
it
'cause
I
I
want
want
Number
5 and then 3.
five and field number 3.
Field number 5 and field number 3.
And I want them in those orders. Like you just tell it, because I could go
Oh, it-
5, 2, 3,
no, it
1,
didn't.
whatever.
It didn't, yeah, because 5
It
is supposed to
didn't
be
listen.
IP, so
Oh, crap. Okay.
it did it, just not in order.
It didn't do it. It should not do it. Or I should have understood that it wouldn't be smart enough to do them in the wrong other order. So I guess I could do 3, 5.
Were you just looking for IP addresses?
Usernames and IP addresses.
You did 3 and 8.
Whoops. Right? If you do one that doesn't have, right? It'll print nothing. Okay. So we're gonna try, so I'll let you guys figure out the rest, right? So we need to get the set of users, right? And the set of IP addresses that connected that were bad. So that's gonna be part 1. We've kind of most of the way got there on that one for you. The other one is, so last time we talked about our SSH keys. What was it called? Well, let's just do a head. No, yeah, we'll do that. So we need to find a successful authentication. So what I want to do is I want to pull out all of those SSH hashes that were in there so that we can figure out, okay, what is the set of SSH keys that are being used by this server. Let me do, let's grep it for key. I don't remember. There we go. Alright, so I found accepted public key for, oh look, Kyle Glant logged on. Okay? So, what you need to do, he logged on a lot. Miller and Jay logged on. Alright, so what I'd like you to pull out of this is the user, right, the IP address, and then this SHA-256 key, right, that they have in there. Okay, so I'll have you guys work on that. We won't go over all the details on that one. We need to do a little bit of work.
Is this for that file off.log.1?
Yeah, so I use auth1, right, and auth is, I was gonna do the auth one, but it didn't have enough lines in it, so I wanted to have more. That's why I picked the auth one. So these are actual logs from the server that we have. Okay? Questions on that?
Are we doing this right now or for homework?
No, it's gonna be homework.
Oh.
It'll be Good Friday.
I forgot we had homework this month.
I gotta give you homework, otherwise you just watch me and say, I get it. You don't.
We can
Like, oh, what was that command that
We can watch this
worked
back,
out?
right?
What?
We can watch this back.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm recording it.
Dope. Hi, Peter.
Ah, yeah. I'm hacking. Guys, I'm hacking. Look at me, guys, I'm hacking. I'm growing a hoodie as we speak.
Okay, so what were we working on last time? You're growing a hoodie.
It's like my new shell, it's growing.
This is just.
But the other thing that I decided after pondering it, so I tried this in 458. Adam was in there. He
Yep.
probably recalls this. So we had, I started having them listen to podcasts, and then I got complaints because Security Now is like too boring for most people.
No.
So, for the rest of the semester, so there'll be 13 something or so podcasts. So I'll have you guys listen to the podcast, and we'll discuss the topics that were on it on Fridays.
Sweet.
So outside of class, it comes out I think on Tuesdays, right? So you should have 2 or 3 days to listen to it. Honestly, put it at like 1.5 or 1.2x because he talks really slowly, so won't totally be able to comprehend it.
What was the name of the podcast again?
Security Now, and I'll put an announce out. About
It'll be
it.
on Canvas.
What?
It'll be on Canvas.
Yeah.
Everything.
I'll put that on Canvas.
What's he talk about? Just like updates on tech and stuff? Or?
He talks about
He loves
you know,
what he's doing.
disclosure. I mean, anything geeky that happens in security. So, for example, this week he was talking about ransomware that hit Flagstaff.
I'm trying to remember, was that the same one you assigned for 130 that talked about the guy that went in too deep to the people getting the OG names for?
No, that was a different one. That was the.
That was Snapchat Thief?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good
That
one.
was on Mike Gimlin. What is that? Radiolab.
Yeah, it was Radio Lab.
That's a good one.
That is a good one, and it's.
It was a really good listen. Yeah.
Oh, that one is definitely.
I like that.
Okay, so we'll have that podcast, so you guys will need to listen to that. This week's by Friday, and I'll put the episode number that we're starting on, and they go one a week. I think you'll get one that won't be security related. I think he's going to talk about backups or something next week, so that one will be not as cool, but a little bit appropriate. So what were we working on last time? This screen should sort of bring back memories.
The backdoor pseudo command.
Okay.
We started.
Yep. So we're gonna have a backdoor sudo command. So when somebody types sudo, what they're gonna get is they're gonna get our bad version of sudo. And I had to make sure I did a little research afterwards so that I got my syntax right. So we will look at this. So a couple commands that we're gonna use in this. Okay, so read. So read is going to read a line of input into a variable. If you scroll down, I don't think it's on the screen yet.
So so you have this in your super secret directory, bad guy
Yep.
directory.
I started
And
it.
how did you build the hidden directory again? I'm sorry to back up here.
No, you're fine.
MKDIR to make a
It's
directory.
MKDIR, but how do you hide it?
Okay, so again, by default,
Dot.
right, anything that starts with a dot
Yeah.
is going to be a hidden directory.
So if I do
So
a
when
dot,
you do a normal ls, right, it's not something that you will see. Now, if I was smart, right, I wouldn't put it in their root directory because every time they log on, right, they're going to look at that directory, right? I'd put it somewhere else that they could do. A good place is /temp, right? So /temp is where you put things, right? But when you reboot, they disappear. So
do I need to sudo that?
no, you're
'Cause
just doing this as a regular user.
It tells me I can't create the directory.
In your home, are you in your home directory?
I'm in,
New
yeah.
stone,
Oh,
his
yeah.
home.
Let me go home.
Don't
There.
go to my home.
There we
Or
go.
the shared home. If you type CD when you're in anywhere,
Bad
it'll just go home.
guy, hacker file.
So is it make dir
Yeah,
slash
there we
dot?
go.
Or is it just dot?
You just type dot.
Okay. You don't need a slash in there?
And if you put an extra slash, you're probably trying to put it in the root directory.
Where's my bad guy? There's my bad guy hack file. All right, very good. All right, I'm in my bad guy hack file.
And how do we see these hidden ones if we wanted to look for it, if we forgot the name?
ls hal, right?
What?
It's
ls minus HAL. I think that minus L,
just remember
the
hal.
AL. Yeah, I just remember how.
HAL 9000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like a bad guy. That's
Yeah.
how you
H is for human. I think A is for all files, and then L is for list them one by one in a row.
So and then you're making your sudo bash.
So you can just say vi space sudo.
Yeah, sudo. And then I can just write it from here on out with the exclamation.
No, we're just calling it bash. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yes, so it's
Shebang.
Shebang.
Hashtag-
That's what it is. Shebang.
Shebang.
I gotta get the shebang in there. Great.
Or Octothorpe. Bang.
I was gone Friday, so I don't remember what's going on.
So what we're doing is, you should watch the video
I forgot.
on Friday. So we're gonna make a backdoor sudo command,
Okay.
so that when they type sudo, we get their password.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
Sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Guys, we're hacking.
Okay. So what we're gonna end up doing is we're basically going to, they're gonna type sudo, and then some command that they want to run, right? And so what we want to do is they've already typed the command, they hit enter. Now we need to basically read in their password. So one thing that you, right, as an attacker you want to do is you want to emulate how the system normally functions, right? So if I say sudo ls, this is the prompt that I'm gonna get. It says sudo password for, and then it has my entire username, right? So how would we figure out what user it is that's running? I mean, we could hard code it, but we may just want to do this for everybody.
So
Anybody
mine,
know?
when I did a sudo ls, it didn't ask for passwords. Is that because I'm root?
Well, on that one you are,
He's
so it's
making
not
one.
gonna
So it's not
answer.
gonna ask. But typically, it's
On
gonna
a
look like
normal
that.
system, it's gonna look like this.
Just do CD to change directory.
Would we want
Go
to
back
read
your
that
home,
output somehow?
and then
Well, so what we'd
MPDF,
like to do is we'd like to
We
print this
print that,
off.
so we need to echo that, right? Don't
Yep,
we?
we can
You
echo
make it
this.
hidden as a dot.
And we're gonna do that right at the beginning of the file, right?
So we'll echo it right before we read. So we'll say echo. And put quotes around it.
Would that be only just for you?
Yep. So, there's a lot of different things in our environment that might help us. So if we type env, it'll tell us all of the environment variables that are set for a normal user, or for a user that you're logged on as. So one of them that we should see is user, right? So in our backdoor command, and the way to access a variable is you type $sign and then that variable name. So we want, instead of Miller MJ here, we want $sign user. You notice how I highlighted that pink for me?
And that's just out of the environment. I mean, that's just it's a system variable.
Yep, so the ones that are always gonna be there are, for example, home, right? You would think log name, path, which we're gonna work with, pwd, shell, user. Some of these others may or may not be there. But those are all your sort of default ones that you're gonna get. And there can be more, right? You can set your own variables. And we'll learn how to do that when we basically add this to the path. And so we're gonna add
So-
it to our path.
Basically, in order to find those system variables, I just need to do my env. That gives
Yep.
my environmental variables.
And
Okay.
and the ones I talked about are ones that are like almost always gonna be there because they're part of your typical Unix system. When you log on with Bash, right, it is gonna happen.
The pseudo worst file. This incident will be reported.
Okay, remember we're
I did
we're
that
getting their credentials
on
from
Friday.
them.
I did that on Friday, and I'm gonna get a hard strike.
Okay. Yeah, we've already
You
kicked
get the
Adam off
sysad.
and taken away
Yeah.
all his resources.
You got the
He can only save 1 megabyte worth of files in his home directory. There's a quote on it.
Maybe less, maybe.
Maybe. Alright, so now we've done an echo for their password. Let's look at the man for echo, because so what's going to happen is it actually will print off sudo password for a user and then put a new line. I'm not going to run it, but that's what it would
So
do.
we need an escape sequence.
We
going.
need to tell it,
Yeah.
do not output a new line, or -n, right? So we look in here, right? Because that would kind of tee somebody off that you did something bad, right?
Shouldn't be doing this.
So we'd be doing -n. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say. Why doesn't mine have the pretty colors like yours does?
That's what I was thinking.
Why doesn't yours have pretty colors?
Text format.
Yeah, yours has the text formatting.
Okay, so back up.
It's inconsequential.
You can download
So,
font stuff for.
again, right, hidden files start with a dot, so I went to my home directory, and you can create a file called .vimrc. So it's the Vim runtime configuration,
Dot.
and you will want to put syntax space on inside of there.
So I create vimrc.
Dot
Dot
.vimrc. Yep.
Okay. All right.
You type the word syntax space on.
And then those other ones.
So then I just
You don't need the other ones.
I'm gonna do sudo I. I'm gonna go there and sudo I. Is that right?
You don't need the sudo, right? You're in your home directory,
I'm in my home directory. Okay.
so you don't need the sudo, right?
So then I just type. Don't I-
syntax space on.
Oh my god.
But do
just
I
the
need to
first
create? Do I need to create a thing to put
When
this
you
in?
say vi space, it'll create the file.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand. All right. I'm where you are now.
I'm using Vi a lot more at home now because that's what I'm learning.
So then
Well,
I'm
the
gonna
reason
do-
why I learned VI is because I took a Linux class in college, and the only way you could edit anything was through VI, and it was the real VI, not the improved one you guys get.
Oh, you got that, the base one? Like
Yeah.
Ooh,
See, now,
I don't like that.
while creating this file, I have the colored format, so I'm.
It might.
Because I didn't while I was doing the other stuff,
Syntax
but now I
on,
do.
set list, list
Okay.
stars. And then I just save that.
Escape :WQ. Yep.
Oops.
So now, when we go back, you should have your syntax.
Oh,
already.
because I opened it up in VI and not
How come
VI,
it
that's
says
why.
no file name? It won't let me write because I haven't saved it. Or,
What?
Hey,
so :WQ.
You just needed the first line. Don't do any of those. That's just common. Escape :WQ.
So you want me to just get rid of these?
No, you're fine.
You're good. Okay. WQ. No file.
Okay, escape :WQ space slash root slash
Yay.
dot vimrc. There you go. You made it a directory. That's why you don't have a file.
Oh, that's what I was supposed to be doing. Okay. All right.
No.
You make a directory and then you make a file in it.
Okay, escape :qbang. You just
Bang.
Yeah.
All right.
okay.
So, cause yeah, I made a directory. Well, I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
No, we're making a file. So rm dot vimrc.
That's what I have. I was a little slow on
Okay.
that one.
rm minus rf
Minus RF. RC. All right.
vi
Now.
space dot vimrc.
All right, I got you now. Okay.
Type in. Now you should be able to just write
Syntax on, right?
Yep, syntax space on.
So to do the opposite,
Now I
you
can
delete
do
that or
this.
say syntax off?
I think it's off.
So now I should be able to.
Now if you go back into your super secret directory, and if you edit your command,
So
Yeah,
I
syntax
should
on.
be able to. I
You
got
put
my
a password on a
sudo.
directory?
what?
You put a password on a directory?
Oh, I'm just looking.
Gotcha.
No, not for
Ah,
secret
that's
setup.
so pretty.
You can't, like if you're in the web directory, right, they have
That's why
additional
I did them colors,
permissions.
so that's my real.
And
Them.
lots of things have
Okay.
access control lists, so you could do stuff like that.
Okay.
Then you'd have to have more users and stuff.
Now in a bash file, can I write comments with the double slashes, or how do you comment in a bash file?
I think hash.
Hash.
is a comment. Okay, so we've echoed to the user asking them for their password, and then we've read minus S, I believe, will not echo back to the screen. Right, so when you do it, and you can try it in here. E minus S. Oh,
Is there a difference between the capital S and
there's another.
Yoza.
Yeah, because you don't want it to print that you're reading
It
what
doesn't.
they're typing.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Where-
It makes it look
there's
like it's
another
a.
one I typed the wrong one.
Because minus S is like, it just doesn't show anything.
Yeah, I saw a little. Yeah, there's one.
Where is the? Ah. think that's actually mine. I think it will be fine. So minus S, I don't know why it's showing up there. But what we want to put after that is the variable that we're going to save it into. So this is going to create a new environment variable.
Called
I am going to call it pass.
Okay.
Right? You can call it whatever you want, password, Fred, Bob, Bill, Ted, anything like that. So after it reads from the user, the name, right, then, and I'll switch into bash here when I do mine. Right now I'm just printing it off. I probably won't turn that on. Right, if you echo $pass, so I've turned it off because I don't want you actually to see my password when I type it in.
So you
For some
just
reason.
commented it out right now.
Yeah, I commented out that at the end.
But that
you
would
guys can put it.
that would show it.
It would show it. And what we're going to end up doing is we're just going to save it to a file so that we have their SSH password or their sudo password, right?
Because we can show it because we're using our password one, our epically awesome. Okay.
Wait, what password does it show?
So you get rid of
What?
the,
It's going to show the password you have on there.
So right, you're going to get the prompt that says sudo, right, password for, and then your name.
Now-
you're typing, you're going to type it
get
here.
rid of S then, or
This
delete
would
it?
tip somebody off if they were running as root, right? Because root won't ask you for a password. If they know what they're doing, they would know I should be able to sudo as root without having a password.
Yeah, and
So-
you can take that into account when you're doing it, right? So you could look and see if they're the root user, but then it's not going to do us any good.
Because you're not going to get their password, so root. So you wouldn't even run this.
You might, right? You
Yeah.
might do it by hiding it, right? You
Yeah.
might not do what you're going to do if they were the root user.
Because
Right,
you
you
want to
can do
have that
that.
on there so that it grabs it at the right time without tipping them off.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, so here it'll say bad sudo, so we know that we got the right one. And then what we need to do is we need to take our password and we need to send that
To a file.
to sudo. So if we go and look at the man for sudo, I believe it's minus S. Hey, look at that. Write the prompt to standard error, okay, and read the password from standard input, right? So the prompt is not getting printed, but it's reading the password from the input, right? And when we have these things called pipes, we can take the output of one command and send that as input to another command. Okay, so back in our main program, we want to do echo our password, which is $pass, right? And so that'll print off the output of pass, and then we're going to send that into the sudo command.
Oh, we're in.
In the sudo command, the actual sudo command, right, we're going to read from standard in our password. So now we should be able to sudo that command. So as if they had done it normally.
So you've just taken you've just inserted yourself in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the dash S is a passage along.
And
then
then
you have
go ahead.
you have four variables, possible variables declared there just in case they put a bunch of stuff in
Yep,
there.
and so I went looking and I found that there is a command to give it all the variables. So it is quote $at. So instead of just giving hard coded set, we can do
$at.
quote $at, or give it all the rest of the variables that we have, right? So our command is sudo, and then all the rest of the arguments get passed to this command that they are running.
And this variable would be the password or what? What's this variable?
Well, so they're typing a command like sudo ls -hal
Oh,
/bin, right?
So
okay.
anyone using sudo.
Well, yeah.
echo bad sudo pass. That's gonna show them what they wrote, right?
Well, I'm printing this so we know that we're
Just for
running
us. Okay.
it. We're not gonna.
We never would actually do that. That line would be commented out. and
Yeah.
We would, okay. All right. Very good.
Yep.
This is just.
And then I will type /. Well, let me enter bash first. Bash is going to be I usually use fish, but we're assuming our person is using bash, right? So it would probably be a little bit different in different shells.
Is there a way to add comments in that file without affecting the way it operates?
Yeah. If you put a hashtag,
Comment, yep.
that's a comment.
So do I WQ this then?
Yep.
Alright.
When you're done.
Now
I'm
we
gonna
gotta
show us running it here.
run it. Alright.
So if I do sudo, right, so I'm having to specify I want to use this sudo, not the real sudo. Right, so /sudo ls/var/log.
Do I need to do all that?
Well, you can, right? And if you put that echo in, you should see your password when we do it. So what I should see is
So this is writing it to varlog. Is that what happened?
no. I am pretending like I'm running a regular sudo command.
Oh, I
And I
got you.
don't know that I've been backdoored, right?
Gotcha.
So I'm just saying sudo, and I'll remove the // We'll figure out how to do that. I'm just saying sudo ls/var/log. I just want to see, okay, what's in the log, right? So it asks me for my password.
So how come mine says permission denied?
What?
I'm getting a permission denied.
Oh, yeah. So remember we talked about the permissions on files.
The
So what you'll need to do is chmod, and we'll do user group other plus x.
So we're gonna have to be able to execute it. for
We have to be
everybody.
able to execute it.
Okay.
And then we give our file, so that's going to be that sudo for sudo. And when you ls,
So we have to do a sudo after the ugox plus x. 'Cause
well,
mine-
that's the command, right? Normally you'd call it
Oh.
like sudo.sh.
Yep, gotcha.
So our man in the middle command is called sudo.
User group other plus.
Okay?
Do we need to make a directory in the home directory for this? Or
So we made a directory so that it was hidden. You don't have to, but it'll be easier because if we want to have a whole bunch of bad commands, they can all be in this directory.
okay.
So that's why I made it, and I called it .super secret bad guy,
Password.
dir, right? Because clearly you don't want to actually do that.
Yeah.
So this one, because I'm logged in as root, it said it was an incorrect password attempt, but
Did it echo your password?
it did echo my password. Yep.
Okay. I think yeah, there might be.
That's fun. Because since I was root, obviously, it didn't even want a password. So
See, it shouldn't have. Why did you
How
get?
can the sudo work?
So I'm logged in as root. I sudoed sudo ls, just a command. It asked for my password. I typed in my password, and it gave me the password. But then it tried to pass it into sudo with a password. But since I'm root, it said it was the wrong password.
Well, you're not root, you're a normal user,
Or I'm
right?
a normal user now. Okay, on the Unix.
Yep.
So why is it because this isn't actually my password on the Unix server. That's why.
Well, it's printing off whatever you typed.
Gotcha.
You typed garbage, right? Doesn't matter, right? But it piped that into the regular sudo command.
So it worked. It did.
Yeah,
It did work.
It did. If you'd done that on your
On my computer.
yeah, on your computer, right, you would.
Let me do
It
that.
should allow you to do it, right? And mine did an ls when I ran it, and I got the bad sudo, right? So it was actually running it, and it still did it, right? It passed it on to, hey, we're gonna go ahead and do that.
Sudo, hashtag pass.
So questions on this one? Yeah.
It's not working for me. I don't know why.
It's not worked. So this one here isn't working.
No, I can, if I do the. So if I do a sudo ls after I made the file.
So you have to say /. Hold on. You gotta say /. You gotta use your sudo. Oh,
hang on,
you're not a
I'll get
sudo.
back out. So anyway.
you wanna say // sudo. I wanna use the one in my current directory, not the real one.
Right.
Okay?
Permission
Okay,
denied.
so then you gotta chmod it, right? So chmod
Oh, that's what,
user group other plus X. And also you probably would want to do user group other plus read, because in order to run a command you have to be able to read it. Right? So I don't know what the default permissions would be on it. You just make a file. I think by default it's read for everybody. Probably right by you at least. You can see.
So highlight this to see if this works.
So you say /sudo, right, our current one, and then do something like ls/home.
But would there be a way to remap that just to sudo?
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're just doing it now so we can test it and say, does this work? Right? So we're gonna edit our bash.c file and add it to our path so that it looks it up. But yeah, we'll do that. So I said /sudo/home, and then it said sudo, and then it echoed this bad sudo to say, hey, we're running the bad version of sudo, right? Super secret bad guy. But our password got intercepted by the user. And then what we can do in between is we can try and exfiltrate this password somehow. So probably later we will learn how to do it by sending it to a server, right? So we can do a web request and do that. But here, we can just send it to a file. So we can say echo. I'll just put in here, so $user. So echo, right, is going to print this off to the screen, typically, right? It'll fill in $user and $pass with their actual values, and we're going to end up sending it to a file. And again, I can pick any directory, so I'm going to do /home/MillerMJ. I'm going to put this full path in here. So
Now,
this is
if
going
I
to say, I'm going to take the output of that, and I'm going to send it to a file.
Yeah, somewhere.
Okay? So I'm going to send it to log.txt, right?
So I can just save it here in this one if I want to for now,
Yeah,
right?
and we're actually going to want to put 2 arrows. So 2 arrows means, 1 arrow means take this output and write it to the file and don't care what's in there. 2 arrows means append.
Right.
Right, so I'm going to add it to the
Doesn't
file.
overwrite every time.
And yeah, we don't want to write. We want to append right to the end of the file every time they type a password in. Right? So I'm not typing my real password. It is clearly not AEOU. If I do it again, right? I type more garbage in there. Right, so every time, right, I'm getting that data sent to a log file.
So log.txt. So why did mine? Why did it print out log.txt? What did I do wrong? Because it should take the username and the password. I mean, put it into a log.txt in this file. When I did it, sudo ls did that. Is it this? Is the problem with this?
No, you're doing an ls, and there's a file in there called log.txt and a file called sudo.
Oh, and it's showing it. Okay, so
Yeah.
I would actually probably, what I want to do an escape line character, like a dash, like in here somewhere.
Yeah, you can.
Would I do that?
You can just do
In the
echo
middle.
minus n and just give it a blank string, and that'll print off.
Oops. Messing things up.
Like do it the line before. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, echo, not mine.
Slash in. It would be slash or
You just put echo space and then put quotes, and it'll print off a new
I
line.
should do it. Alright, let's try this.
Alright, so clearly you guys got your money's worth and more. 7 extra whole minutes. I'll keep track. How many extra minutes I give you?
I don't know what you're talking about. It's Thursday at 12:21 of April 11th, just like it is every day.
Now, you can probably email this to some random email
Yeah, we're
too.
we'll talk about.
Yeah,
Like the simplest way would just be to make a web request. Web request,
Just
it's a 404.
pop it right out.
Rep in their logs.
yeah,
I'm gonna take this one.
this is nice. That's cool.
Okay, so next time we'll talk about the podcast, and we are going to
Listen.
learn how to add this to the pass so that the user just runs it without even knowing. Okay?
So now, yeah, we gotta listen to the podcast.
And you got homework. Lots of work.
Oh, right, the log thing. And that's gonna show up on Canvas